Welcome, everyone, to the Underground Sound. Episode 23 is what we are recording today. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango, and we would like to obviously welcome our new permanent addition, Rob Williams, otherwise known as Smart Monkey. So the three of us together will be putting the us back into music.
This is you, Rob. Is it?
But that's your cue.
Told you we'd mess up.
I tell you.
Totally.
Spot the new boy.
So please do like, subscribe, and share.
I thought it was right at
Just
the
now,
end.
keep moving your mouth. I'll do the voice for you. Please do like, subscribe, and share. Should we do it again?
I think we might have
Right.
to.
So with me, as always, is Carlos Fandango, and we'd like to welcome our new permanent addition, Rob Williams, otherwise known as Smart Monkey, where together we are putting the us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music that you like to hear.
And don't forget to click on the little bell so you get notifications of whenever we upload new videos.
Absolutely. Once again, a special shout out and thank you to our show sponsor, Nathan Brashear of Monsters Are Real. Please, by all means, visit monstersarerealmusic.com. That is Nathan's official website. There you'll be able to find all of his music and all of his projects, all things basically going on in the world of Monsters Are Real there. And speaking of websites, we do encourage you to visit our website, usundergroundsound.com. For those of you that have been with us from the beginning here and are kind of like keeping up with the news on what's going on with YouTube, YouTube may ban us shortly. They may not. I don't know exactly what's going on with this whole copyright kind of tool, but a lot of the music that we do listen to and the music that we do a review is copywritten. So we've basically always kind of like taken off the possibility of monetization to review your music here, and which we are fine with. We don't need to worry about that. But if YouTube implements the new rule, that means we will not be able to do any copywritten content at all, which tends to be usually 3 or 4 songs out of the show. So once again, please do visit usundergroundsound.com. The radio station will be making a comeback there. And if anything happens with the YouTube channel, then all of the shows from that point forward will be going on the website there, and so you'll be able to keep track of us and keep track of what's going on with the new indie and underground artists that we review here. Because let's face it, the music that we've heard for the past year and going forward, I'm sure, is music that definitely deserves to be heard. So join us on the radio station there. So once again, usundergroundsound.com. You'll find out all the news there, just in case anything happens here. And we will be making the podcast reappearance onto Spotify, Apple Music Podcasts, and let's see, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcasts at. We will definitely be making that transition back to that very shortly. As far as today is concerned, our first song is by a group called Increment. The name of the song is 80. And Carlos Fandango, what can you tell me about this song so far, sir?
Okay, it says this is their first release. 80 is an indie rock banger about the dejection and impulsiveness that's felt after falling out with a partner. They're basically a 5-piece band from Perth in Australia. So back over to Australia, and we're young band, up and coming, and hopefully you'll enjoy the song. I think I must have chosen it. I can't remember much about it, but I think I chose it because it's a nice, beaty, upbeat show opener, show starter.
All righty. Well, for our show starter, Increment with 80, it is also available on Spotify. Let's check it out.
Turn off the light, 'cause I don't wanna be awake. I don't wanna talk to anybody but me. And I wanted to feel so happy I would die, and I just wanted you to be the person that I could lie awake with at night. Now I wanna drive into a school zone just to feel anything, anything more than this. Now I wanna drive 80 through a school zone just to feel anything, anything more than this. Turn off the light, 'cause I don't wanna be awake tonight. Oh, I just wanna sleep, too weak to walk, and I don't wanna talk to anybody but me. And I wanted to feel so happy I would die, and I just wanted you to be the person that I could lie awake with at night. Now I wanna drive 80 through a school zone just to feel anything, anything more than this. Now I wanna drive 80 through a school zone just to feel anything, anything more than this.
Alrighty, that was Increment with 80 as our brand new staple and permanent host to the show. Smart Monkey, what'd you think, my friend?
Well, Carl, you're right. What a good start. That was a great track to start the show with. Really nice indie rock feel to that. Nicely produced, real clean sounds, nice bright top ends. And I noticed you said they were an Australian band, but it's really odd because there are elements of almost Brit indie sound to them, and then there was like almost this Californian slant to their vocals as well. So the blend of that is a really nice sound. I got bits of like the Strokes when I listen to the way that their music is produced, yeah, it has that kind of drier rock sound to it. I know that one of their inspirations is the 1975, but I feel like theirs is more drier than that, and I like it. I like that kind of rawness that it has to it. So, yeah, really good start to the show.
Agreed. And Mr. Carlos Fandango, what say you? Interesting, actually, Rob, that you mentioned about the rawness of it, because I've actually written down, well, I put definitely indie rock, and rather than rock and roll, it's rock and raw. I've written down rock and roll. And the rawness really comes because it sort of feels like a sort of live type track that could be played live and probably was partially recorded live, if not entirely. There's a little bit of buzz right at the start, so I'd be conscious of that, although it might be for effect to make it sound like a buzzing live sort of song. And give that feel, which is fine. Yes, vocally interesting. Whilst they're from Australia, they've got that modern young person's way of pronouncing things like so as soyu. So it's a more S-O-U-Y-W type of soyu. And same with the zone, zoyun. It's that kind of thing going on. So, but that's just the way people pronounce things these days. Oddly enough, when it started out, the vocals, they didn't continue that way, but they started off almost like a Morrissey sort of solo track sound, particularly with that indie rock sound. So And I wasn't disappointed. I think a lot of thought's gone into the structure of the song because it does, it doesn't stop and start a lot, but it kind of does ebb and flow a bit. And it's definitely got a lot of thought in it in terms of the construction and the way the whole flow of the song goes. They've given it a lot of consideration. So for a young band, I think it's a really good, nice start and good show opener. Liked it.
You see, this is why I like listening to the songs for the first time on the show, because I think that you guys have just had like way too much time to think about this shit.
The problem is I forget about the songs until I actually hear them now. They're almost, because my memory's bad, they're almost like new songs for me each time I hear them. So I know by the time the show comes around, I've forgotten everything.
Yeah, it's all about you. It's all about you. I get it. No, I think. Listen, I think it was a really good poppy song. So I kind of get what you're saying about Morrissey there, because it is kind of raw and everything like that. But it reminded me kind of like of early Green Day, and I think it was a really poppy song. And if we take it back to the 90s style of the rock and the alternative pop and everything like that, I really think it sounded like Green Day. Obviously, when we entered the solo, it sounded a little bit different. My only critique would be, as I've mentioned to Carl many times before, is raise the vocals up just a little bit. But as far as the static is concerned, I do think that the static is just part of the song, something that's in there as an effect rather than oh shit, we forgot to hit record or something like that. You know what I mean? So
I think she meant that then.
No, I said
I had a quick glance up at the top of the screen. Is it recording? It's the sort of thing we've done before. I say we, I mean you.
Yes, it has.
You're the one with the finger, and you're the one with the red button.
Indeed, no.
So the rumor goes.
All righty. Oh, one thing that I was wanting to ask was, because I had written it down here. Did it seem like it was out of tune in the first in kind of the first couple of licks of the guitar there? Seemed like it went from minor to major in a very short period of time.
Would you play the first few seconds again? And I'll
No, we're done. I've already set up the.
Can't say I picked up on that. I didn't
pick up. In that case, no.
I did feel like the start was different to the rest, but then I felt that was almost part of the design of the song.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. I'm, there's no criticism as to it being out of tune or anything like that, because if it was, it definitely fit the song, the way that it should. It just, to me, it felt like it was out of tune a little bit in the beginning. But again, a good poppy song to me really reminds me of like that kind of like earlier Green Day kind of stuff. Love the instrumental portion, especially. We went into kind of like this whole rock solo. And then everything just kind of like brought everything back up. So as far as the ebb and flow is concerned, then I think that Carl is correct on that one. Is it ebb and flows nicely throughout the song? Definitely a radio friendly song at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, I believe is what it was, and it's definitely a very poppy live song. So yeah, I think I'm going to say good job there.
I just listened to the intro. Sounds fine to me. It's what you mean, those initial ba 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 or whatever it was.
Yeah, like the first let's say 30 second build up.
Sounds right to me. It might have been slightly, but I didn't notice it.
Well, it's interesting because I think this song is an interesting take on how a song should take you on a journey. So it had an intro to me, which is not your typical intro, but it's that little bit different to how the rest of the song progresses. And then at the end, when you've got that around that, because I made a note of that actually, around the 240 mark, where he does that little roar in his vocal as well, like, I'm like, yeah, I like this. I like the fact that it's gone from this very sort of quite, as you said, Morrissey start to suddenly becoming quite sort of vocally rocky at the end, and it's taking you on this journey. And you've subtly gone through these stages to get there, and I think that's pretty cool, to be fair, and very much a live track, as both of you have said. You could hear this track live, really good.
I think a lion just got into the studio. Angry koala or something.
80 by Increment was the name of that song, folks. If you don't know yet where to find this music, then by all means hop into the video description below. You will find the Slaps links there. From Slaps, you could find them on Spotify, whatever the case may be. But once again, do hop into the video description below, find these artists, and go show them some love. Throw them a fire, throw them a like, share them to your social media platform, and let's get more of the word out on this fantastic indie music that we have the privilege of listening to every week here on the Underground Sound. And moving on to our second song here, Dalila, am I reading this correctly?
Yeah, I think you are reading it correctly. Yeah.
Dalila Mar with Brividi, I think is what it looks like. So have you done the translation on this, Carl?
Yep, I'll give a translation of the song description. So it says, I adore this song, which has come from the San Remo Festival 2022, Cantata de Mahmoud El Blanco. So he has represented Italy at the Eurovision Song Contest. So it's a cover of a song by the looks of it. And Dalila is from Ragusa in Italy, and solo artist. I think normally this isn't her normal style, and I've listened to a few of her songs, and I particularly like this one because I feel like it. Well, I'll say what I think about it afterwards, but yeah, hopefully you'll like it. It's a nice. So from that rip roaring opening, we're coming down into a more tender love song type of track.
Okay. Well, nothing wrong with that. The song is also available on Spotify and YouTube from the icons that are shown here. I noticed that it says Eurovision. Eurovision is something that Smart Monkey has mentioned a few times. Let's see if it fits into this Eurovision category. This is Dalila Mar with Brividi.
Ho sognato di volare con te su una bici di diamanti. Mi hai detto sei cambiato, non vedo più la luce nei tuoi occhi. La tua paura cos'è? Un mare dove non tocchi mai, anche se il sesso non è la via di fuga dal fondo. Dai, non scappare da qui, non lasciarmi così, nudo con i brividi. A volte non so esprimermi e ti vorrei amare ma sbaglio sempre, e ti vorrei rubare un cielo di perle e pagherei per andar via, accetterei anche una bugia, e ti vorrei amare ma sbaglio sempre e mi vengono i brividi, brividi, brividi. Tu che mi svegli il mattino, tu che sporchi il letto di vino, tu che mi mordi la pelle con i tuoi occhi da vipera, e tu sei il contrario di un angelo, e tu sei come un pugile all'angolo, e tu scappi da qui, mi lasci così, nudo con i brividi. A volte non so esprimermi e ti vorrei amare ma sbaglio sempre, e ti vorrei rubare un cielo di perle e pagherei per andar via, accetterei anche una bugia, e ti vorrei amare ma sbaglio sempre e mi vengono i brividi, brividi, brividi. Dimmi che non ho ragione, vivo dentro una prigione, prova a restarti vicino, ma scusa se poi mando tutto a puttane, e non so dirti ciò che provo, è un mio limite, però ti amo, o mi scatto droghe e lacrime, sto veleno che ci sputiamo ogni giorno, io non lo voglio più addosso, lo vedi, sono qui su una bici di diamanti, uno fra tanti, nudo con i brividi. A volte non so esprimermi e ti vorrei amare ma sbaglio sempre. E ti vorrei rubare un cielo di perle e pagherei per andar via. Accetterei anche una bugia e ti vorrei amare ma sbaglio sempre e mi vengono i brividi, brividi, brividi.
That was Brividi, Dalila. I'm sorry, Dalila Maru with Brividi. Mr. Monkey, what do you got to say?
Well, I sense that me and Carl are going to say very similar things here. So, when I heard this song, the very stripped back sound to it, the fact it's really hard to, well, maybe it's just me not able to put it into a particular genre of music. I guess it's like R&B, is it? I'm not really sure, but she has this beautiful voice in this song that just suits it perfectly. And I know that it's a cover, and so I went and had a listen to the original, and I have to be honest, I prefer her cover just because it's so stripped back and it's just showing or showcasing her vocals. And again, as Carl's already alluded to, that I thought I'll go and have a listen to our other tracks, and they are different to this track. This to me is more pure in her vocal range and just beautiful in the way that she uses her voice on this, whereas some of her other tracks are more arguably commercial almost and a little bit sort of forced in places, whereas this just fits her voice beautifully. So yeah, I mean, it's not normally my kind of music, but I thought this was a really nice song and it just lends itself really well. A little bit of Adele elements in there, and I know that's one of her inspirations, so you know, well done to her because she's got that element, but it's again more stripped back than a traditional Adele song and more almost classical in its feel. So yeah, very good.
Indeed. That was the comment that I had left, but I'll get to that. Carlos Fandango.
It just goes to show, doesn't it, with the language barrier for us being there, the human voice can convey emotion and you kind of get the feel of what she's trying to get across, really, and without knowing what the words are necessarily. Now, interesting you should say about the other songs, because my personal opinion of the other songs is that I didn't particularly, it's not my cup of tea. The reason being is they display a lot of modern, it's what Simon Cowell would probably call a cruise ship singer, modern affectations. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way.
Yeah.
What I mean is that I think Dalila has picked up a lot of affectations of the modern singer, but when it comes to this song, it's her and it's stripped back and it's more her, and I want her to do way more of this sort of thing because this really showcases, as you say, showcases her voice. It's a sort of husky quality to her voice when she's singing tenderly, whereas the other ones are very sort of blast out the song. I don't think that's always necessary. Some songs it is, but for this is perfect for her voice. She had tenderness in there and simplicity with the piano as well. But the range, as Tom mentioned, the range, but the range, not just within the vocal range of notes, but in the way she was expressing those notes and the words was quite astounding. So I would love her to do more of this because I thought that was astoundingly beautiful. And, you know, it's the sort of voice you could think, well, if that voice was nagging you to get the bins out on Wednesday or something, put the bins out, you wouldn't argue with her, would you? Gorgeous voice.
I think she had a fantastic voice. Absolutely fantastic. I do think that she had a very Adele quality to her voice because you know, Adele does not just have that you know, deep voice. You know, she can also hit some you know, great notes there, and I think that Dalila had shown that, because even kind of like at the halfway point, she even did like that kind of like kind of like we were talking about a little bit of a roar before on the last song, and she kind of did the same thing where there was definitely a little bit of vibrato in it. But to a point that both of you guys have made is I love the simplicity of this, because it really is just the piano and her. And without having heard any of the other music, I just got to say that this production by itself seemed very pro, because the piano sounded, perfectly in tune. The voice sounded perfectly in tune. And I got to say, great job. Great job. I love it. And usually Carl and I are pretty eye to eye when we consider different music here. And so I got to say that if it doesn't feel like it's flowing with the commercial stuff, then by all means keep doing what you're doing here, Dalila, because you did a fantastic job. Very lovely. Nice.
Agreed.
Well, now, as it is with our third song here, we do have the Purple Ball of Destiny.
We do. Here it is. Already shaking. Not stirred, but shaking.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna scoosh it around. Who wants to call it this week? This time.
We'll give it to Rob.
Well, you could always do a 3, 2, 1, go.
3,
3, 2.
Oh my God.
1, go.
Right. Oh, that was I say decisive. Go on. Split. Right, okay. Oh, wow. You're gonna love this, you two.
Let's do this.
Electronic.
Yeah, my favorite.
Bingo. Get one of these for that.
What was that?
Train whistle.
It didn't sound.
That's awesome, isn't it? Train whistle. If you want to get one of these, look up train whistle. And also you can cut one of the things off to make different sounds. So you got
We're not hearing any of it.
oh it's going shall I I see, because it's clever technology, but it's too clever.
Noise cancelling is going. That's just a din.
Noise
Cancel
cancelling.
that
So I've got to talk at the same time. I'm gobbling all over the place now.
What the hell is going on with this show?
I don't know, but I need a tissue for the desk now. Oh, dear me. Well, I thought that would be quite good. I mean,
I think you should keep it. I think it's really good.
But yeah, it does sound good when you actually hear how it should sound. But if you look up on YouTube or anything, train whistle, wooden train whistle, awesome. Every now and then you've got to have a blow. Say nothing else.
I had to be careful what I was going to say there. I'll call back.
No comment to that one. I'm looking at the electronic section, and the electronic section is generally doing its.
Okay. Oh, while you're looking it up, we've got so dad jokes.
Joke time, is it?
Yeah, one quick dad joke while we're waiting for the song to get teed up. Oh, I don't know about that one. That was really dodgy. Okay, that's just more of a thing. Oh, who's the oh no, I think we did this one already, didn't we? who's the quickest draw on the seabed? I thought we did this last week. Billy the Squid.
Yeah, I think you might have.
Yeah.
How about this one? I'll do one just for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding last weekend. Man, it sure got emotional. Even the cake was in tears.
Oh. It was cut up.
All right.
Go on, this is it. Go on, one more quick one, because the other one was done already. It's a bit of a sexist one. Dad, son says, Dad, why haven't you spoken to Mum this week at all? And Dad says, well, son, I don't like to interrupt her. Boom. I'm sure we've got mostly my audience. It'll be all right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Our audience
will be perfectly okay. Okay, from Paesi Bassi in Amsterdam. So we have Davide Lonici, is what it looks like. Who's laughing? Oh, that's
it's what it looks like.
That man, he's up there on mine.
What?
So what was the? Where are they from?
Make him say it twice.
Paesi Bassi.
Okay.
Sibasi, Amsterdam.
Oh, Amsterdam. Okay, yeah.
Which part is funny here? Because I'm missing this completely.
No. I just it's just that you said it sounded like that. I just thought it was quite because we always see. I always set you up with ones that are going to be hard to pronounce anyway by chance.
I'm just so glad you're saying
By
them, Tom.
chance.
I'd be
But the
terrible.
Purple Bowl's conspiring against you as well now, giving you difficult pronunciations.
Okay, it's fine. I'm still missing this. I don't know.
I don't even
Okay,
go for it. Come on,
here we go. So on with the show. Posted 9 hours ago. This is Davide or Davide. I don't know. Lonici. Looks like with influences ranging from Daft Punk to Hans Zimmer, Phoenix, Hardwell, Tame Impala, Apparat, Madara, and Muse. So all great influences there. The song is called Obsidian, also available on Spotify and YouTube. Here is Davide Lonici with Obsidian. Check it out. Well. I think we should let Smart Monkey take this one away.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? So that was a total random pick, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I'd already saved this one. from when I was scouring slaps, and I really like this track. So it has a very clubby vibe to it, and it's got that very commercial clubby vibe to it, to be honest. And when I heard this, amongst other things, it jumped out at me because it was quite well produced, and it was a very well polished track. So yeah, I thought it was really good, to be honest. As a sort of clubby dancey mix goes, it had a lot going for it. So seeing this is a random pick, but yeah, I was quite surprised because I already had it in my saves.
Okay, Carlos Fandango.
Yeah, Purple Bowl I think chose quite well. There's not something I'd normally or particularly listen to, although I recognise that it's such. I mean, initially when it started, I was thinking sort of a little hot chip with the sort of meaty beat sort of thing, but then became very much the Prodigy and a very 90s sort of intense, clubby, rave sort of feel about it. But yeah, meaty, beaty, big and bouncy, as we said before with songs. I actually quite liked it. I think it's good production, and there was enough going on to keep it interesting as well as just being a sort of dance song as well. So good choice from the bowl. I think we chose well.
Agreed. Great choice from the bowl. The Purple Bowl of Destiny has done good again. I gotta say, man, I heard everything from Infected Mushroom to Prodigy to Skrillex to Halogen. I mean, there was a lot going on with that song. A lot of motivations there. The influences that were posted, you definitely could hear those. I love the fact that towards the end, especially, you had that bam bam bam, the one that's kind of like done on that old TB-808 kind of like style of drum machine was just fantastic. I enjoyed it. It's one of those songs where I was actually thinking about turning the lights off here and like putting the LEDs like on the strobe effect, right? You could definitely get into the rhythm with that one. Driving in your car, boom, coming back home from work. High energy kind of song, very well done. I think it was nicely produced. All the volumes were, I think, especially for that type of song, they're where they needed to be. Great job, Obsidian. Davide Lonici with Obsidian there, the first choice of the Purple Bowl of Destiny. And now we do move on to song number 4. Tell us about this one, Carl.
Okay, this is Skaviński, although it's also titled as the artist behind it is Argonauts of Self-Antipodes. But Skaviński, and the song's called Luna. We don't know where Skaviński's from, actually, but it says Find Us in the Darkness. And I think, if I remember rightly, this was quite a dark track. Influences include Björk, Crystal Castles, Jan Blomqvist, Tale of Us, Maceo Plex, Rival Consoles. I've heard of Björk. And
you've heard of Björk. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm an old fart. But this one, yeah, if I remember rightly, it's quite a sort of moody track. This is our once a week. Track 4 is normally about the time when we have our instrumental, although we've just had an instrumental as well. So this is our sort of moody instrumental.
The moody instrumental, Skaviński with Luna, annotated once again, Find Us in the Darkness. We Shall. The song is also available on Spotify, but if you need to know immediately where it's at, then visit the video description below, find links to these artists, and go show some love, as we do here on the Underground Sound. So Argonauts of Self-Antipodes, Skaviński with Luna. Enjoy. Skaviński with Luna there. Who wants to take it first? I'll let you fight it out. Come on, duke it out. Let's go.
Come there, Rob.
Yeah, I don't mind. I can
Go,
jump
go,
on
go,
if
go.
you like. So yeah, this track, you know that we've discussed amongst ourselves how I visually sometimes see music, and I thought this was an interesting track because right from the outset it had this kind of bubbly bass that starts the track, which almost for me immediately created almost like a water liquid feel. So I was in this and I know the track's called Luna, but for me visually, when I first heard this track, I was in this like dark moonlit ravine going down a river in this very ominous, dark, foreboding journey, which you just don't know where it's taking you. And this track conveys that really, really well. Very visual track to me when I hear it. The vocals I love them. I absolutely love those kind of haunting vocals that just sit through this track. They are lovely. I mean, I would have those, and I'd grab them and put them on a track of mine. Reminds me of Enigma in places. Just because of that kind of dreamlike quality. At the same time, it has almost these Hans Zimmer fullness strings to it as well. So it's working on many different angles for me. And when I listen to it from my monitors, it sounds lush. It is really good. So that bass even bubbles even more on a decent set of speakers. So I mean, this is a good track, and for me it works really well because I just visualize it, and any track that works visually for me is a winner.
Yeah, I agree. I like this sort of I like songs that have soundscapes. So again, yeah, like it's sort of creating pictures in your head, and it has got that dark, moody mysteriousness of kind of a Massive Attack meets TV crime drama, murder drama type thing. You know, it's that kind of thing. But there's also some of the elements of the vocals were the reverse vocals coming in. The thing I was thinking of was Jean-Michel Jarre's Zuluk album, which had that, I think it was Ethnicolor track, had all that sort of haunting reverse vocals and things going on. But it's just had lots of interesting detail in it, and it's an odd vocal sound. It's a really haunting is exactly the word, and I want to know whether it's sung high and then with a vocoder type effect, or is it a different kind of vocal effect? Any idea, either of you, what the vocal effect would be using there? Because I love
wondering about that reverb you said. I think there's a technique where you almost reverse the reverb, so the vocal is the same, but the reverb almost comes back into itself.
Well,
there's an element of that.
The whole thing is, if you get like a 32 millisecond delay on a reverb on a rich hall, then it's going to sound like it's coming full circle, right? So it's got to be something like that, because it didn't really sound reversed. See, for me, what I got from this is I was not expecting the vocals. Obviously, once again, this is my first time hearing this song, right? So I wasn't expecting the vocals. Immediately when I heard the vocals, what I thought was the person I thought of, the artist I thought of, was Faithless with Insomnia, especially, with this deep, dark moodiness to it. It almost really seemed poetic. Like a piece of poetry that's being written here. And I kind of feel like, having listened to the entire song, I feel like this was like half a song. I feel we were talking about this last week, I think, right? Where we have chapters in an album to make a full album. I think that this is chapter one of something that's going to be bigger than what it is.
Yes, I like that. I like exactly where you're coming from on that. Yeah, that this should be part of a whole almost journey and story.
Yes.
This is part one.
Because even the way that you were describing it, Rob, was right. Like, you're picturing yourself walking down this ravine, and then there's something big going on. You kind of like lose yourself in it, right?
Yeah.
And so the next thing, I think that's what's missing from this one is a bit of a climax, which I think could be track two. So track two comes on with this whole new adventure, and that's really what gives me the feel of the Faithless Insomnia kind of feel to it. Is I think that there's more poetry that's going to come out of that song, honestly, than meets the eye or the ear in this case from first listen with a track that's basically posted on Slaps here. So I'm going to look forward to more. I think that was absolutely phenomenal the way that it was done. And I think that at the moment, I even feel that it's bigger than life and bigger than what we're actually experiencing right now. I think that we're going to hear really, really good things coming out there.
I want part 2. You're right, Tom.
Yeah,
you need to get them to make part 2.
Absolutely.
I can imagine the whole album of that kind of mood music.
Yeah,
would be quite cool.
absolutely. It would be awesome.
Yeah, and I lied. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I'd forgotten there were vocals on it. So it isn't really a instrumental track at all, but it kind of feels instrumental, if you know what I mean, because the vocals got such a sort of instrumenty sound to it.
Exactly. That's where I sometimes say that a vocal becomes an instrument. It's there to almost feed the track rather than to be a very prominent part. You know, we've listened to some where it's all about the lyrics and the song, whereas this is more about the vocals there to help the song along. Very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Top notch. And Carl, you have no need to apologize. You found a great track just because you thought it was an instrumental, you know, I mean, it technically is. So, I mean, no, Carlos Fandango really does a top-notch job of really surfing slaps out there and finding these tracks from these underground artists. So by all means, please visit Carl and say thank you to him over there. Our links will also be in the video description below. But by all means, this is not about us. This is about the independent and underground musicians. So please do visit the video description below. Find the links to these independent and underground musicians. Go show them some love. And if you love that song, then absolutely hop onto Spotify, make that one your own. Hop onto usundergroundsound.com, find our Spotify playlists, and like those if you want to make those your own as well, as we are going to continue to bring you the hottest and the best and the greatest Indian underground music that we have out there. So moving on to our before break track, what do we got going on here, Carl?
We have Keven Daken, and he is we don't know where he's from, but you can check him out, www.kevendakenmusic.com. So it's Keven, Keven Daken music.com. So he's country artist as far as I can see, because his influences include the likes of classic artists such as Merle Haggard, blues artist B.B. King, Eric Clapton, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, as well as Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Motorhead as well. So he's clearly into sort of guitar-based music, so country, rock, and metal. But I think this one was very firmly planted in the country camp, as it were. And this one is called Living Inside of Lonely, which I think, if I remember rightly, very sort of professional sounding, radio-friendly track. So we shall see what you think of it.
Well, with the annotation here, it says my new single coming out to radio January 23rd, available on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Now, thanks for listening. Keven Daken with Living Inside of Lonely. Let's check it out.
Don't bother Jessie at booth 19 and leave her alone with her blood red wine. She's just trying to drown a little pain from the past, trying to forget about a love that didn't last. Yeah, she looks like an angel, but a devil's inside. She never let go without putting up a fight. Someday she'll smile like there's no tomorrow, but tonight she's crying inside. She doesn't want any company. You can tell by the look in her eyes that she's dealing with damage, aches, and pains, missing her one and only. That girl's still hiding out, living inside of lonely. It wasn't like she loved him, or maybe she did. But when she talks about him, she laughs like a kid. Then it's like he walks by and acts like she isn't there, and she just sits and stares. Someday she'll smile like there's no tomorrow, but tonight she's crying inside. She doesn't want any company. You can tell by the look in her eyes that she's dealing with damage, aches, and pains, missing her one and only. That girl's still hiding out, living inside of lonely. Yeah, yeah. Someday she'll smile like there's no tomorrow, but tonight she's crying inside. She doesn't want any company. You can tell by the look in her eyes that the girl's still hiding out, living inside of lonely. Side of
That had that kind of like that kind of like proper Southern twang in it, didn't it?
Those are proper country vocals, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
Proper cunt, yeah.
You did cut off there, didn't it?
Edit.
Or did
It
Edit.
he's a proper cunt. Oh dear, no. I shall take this one.
Please do, Carl. Carl is
That's a bit of a harsh criticism, Rob, but you know,
Oh my God!
we do need a Simon
Do
Cowell
not
on the
put
show.
that one in.
Like,
You've got to take
We
that
do,
one
we
out,
do
man.
need a bit of
Oh,
Simon.
you-
I'll take on the Louis Rausch mantle this week. Then, shall I?
for all you know, it's the man's first song.
Yeah,
For crying out
well,
loud.
nothing like encouragement, is it? That's his first and last song ever. He took it to heart, gave up, went back to being a car mechanic.
This just in, Smart Monkey, not a fan of country.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Don't put that in. Cut that out. Oh my God! I can't believe it. Deep throat the other week. Now the C bomb this week. I don't know. I just asked.
Have we
Okay.
bet like this is exiting the show? No, this is going directly onto the show for comedic
Oh my
effect. Man.
Yeah, well, welcome to Tom's World, Rob, where he puts all the outtakes and stuff.
My mates they would die if they heard that. Oh my God! Oh my God!
I'll take this away anyway. But yeah, so basically, very solid production, very commercial, really good work, and solid songwriting and song itself. But I love the feel of it is a bit of a country blues type of song, in the way that the guitar licks are very Jeff Healey. If you remember the Jeff Healey band, those kind of guitar licks, and the violin reminisce. I was racking my brain all the way through that song, thinking I've heard that sort of gypsy violin sound before. There's a specific song. It finally came to me right at the end of the song, Last Knockings. It was Bob Dylan's Hurricane, and that whole Desire album. If you listen to Bob Dylan's Desire album, it's absolutely brilliant. It's got that gypsy violin sound all the way through. Very sort of country tinged and folk sort of album. And also the vocally, I would say solid, like a sort of Garth Brooks type of proper sort of 80s, 90s, noughties country song, country rock style. So all in all, I mean, I love the sound of that violin, and that really was the highlight for me. But yeah, really good song. It's a good song.
Rob, dare I ask you?
All right.
You lost your eyeballs there for a
Do
second.
you want to
It's
do you
very
want to give
emotional
us?
song. Very
Do you want to
emotional.
revise your opinion?
Very emotional song. This is really, this was really good, actually, to be fair. And country rock, you know, it's not my typical sort of style, but when it's done well, it is really good. And we all listen to it in some shape or form, don't we? Because, and this is, again, my ear, you know, it's very much a part and parcel of TV series and movies. You know, these, when they're done well, they sit so emotionally on a good series. Or and you know, part of my comment was this is such a good song, and the way it's produced, it would sit beautifully on like a slick TV series like Peaky Blinders, Sons of Anarchy, or, you know, a good movie, you know, and it would sit there as a really good emotional track. And his vocals are just, they're just perfect, aren't they? You know, they're really good country vocals, and they just have all of the elements that you want from that kind of vocalist. So yeah, I thought it's a really good song, and definitely needs to be on some kind of slick series. It would sit well there.
Yeah, I love the Peaky Blinders, you know, take that you have on it. Absolutely, 100%. Especially since the theme song to Peaky Blinders is that of Nick Cave with Red Right Hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would fit perfectly into it. Listen, love the fiddle. I think I had, so it was labeled as kind of like country blues and rock and metal, right? So I do think that there's like a Metallica thing going on. I do think that there's like a Motorhead thing going on there. You know, I could definitely pinpoint like kind of like a few things. One thing that you have to appreciate about country music, especially, is the storytelling, right? So the storytelling in the lyrics, I mean, it's there. So not only do you have the solid story, but you have the solid production. You have this fiddle going on. You know, it really, I kind of like thought of like Urge Overkill when I heard it. From the very beginning, and it sounded fantastic. One thing that kept my ear going, and one thing that kept me kind of like really kind of like enthralled and looped into the song was the crash. You know, when the cymbal crash, when it really had this nice kind of like reverb to it, and it was just kind of like, there was very prominent. I think that the drums played a nice little kind of like you know, their portion to what the song actually was. And highly commercial song. Not only is it very highly commercial, just as far as being on commercials or being on you know, in sync licensing for movies and TV shows, but I think that this thing would like get everybody in the house on their feet if it were playing live, just because of the popularity that it could actually garner. So I think very well done, very nicely produced, and again, the lyrics solid in that song. So very nice job there. Loved it. And so once again, folks, we're about to take our break here. It will be completely seamless for you. Almost didn't have my pen in my hand, for crying out loud there. So once again, do visit the description below. I just put my hand up to speak, sir, please.
All it was, I just noticed on that song, just to add to that, I noticed you're giving it lots of fire.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot, which is good. So I was quite pleased that you liked it. And I saw you gave it 20 because it was on 80, rounded up to a nice 100. I did something really evil. I did actually press one more. Then I thought that's really
an asshole. Like, why are you going to do that? Because the next time I see it,
I thought I was going to mess with you. So then I rounded it up to 5. So I think 105. That round number, is that okay?
That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Yeah. Numbers are okay as long as they're in multiples of 5. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I did add one, and then I thought, no, I was going to say to you, why don't you riff your page and just
I've noticed songs that we talked about before that you have done that before, just to mess with me intentionally, because I do go back and I do check these songs out to make sure that I have the links correct and everything like that. So by all means, folks, visit the video description below. And if you see a 106 or a 107 or anything like that, then believe me, that's Carlos Fandango doing that to me intentionally. But by always,
it winds me up just as much, by the way. So I don't know why I do it, but
is that your CDO kicking in?
The
Yeah,
CDO,
OCD.
yeah. Okay, I was going to be
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It is
Yeah.
OCD, but I like to arrange it alphabetically.
CDO, yes.
Hey, boom, boom.
Oh, goodness gracious. Please visit the video description below. Find these artists. Go show them some love. We will be on break for the next couple of minutes. It will be 100% seamless to you. Watch the pen. Welcome back to the second half of the Underground Sound. If it looks like we've been crying, it's because well, we fucking have. So. I'm DJX Tech. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango with our brand new permanent co-hosts. Smart Monkey. Together, we are putting the us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music that you love to hear.
And don't forget to click on the bell so you subscribe to our channel and then get all the notifications when Tom uploads the videos.
And if we don't get banned off of YouTube for copyright, well, we will for other reasons here. But before we go on with the show here, we have a special message from Madonna, who says,
Madonna.
"Hey guys, I like what you're doing with the effing show. Keep up the effing great work, you mother effers."
Oh, wow.
She was quite open with her comments, wasn't she, Madonna?
Well, she's quite sweary at times, but having a comment from Madonna is, I mean, that's amazing. It shows we're making waves and
we
and
are
getting somewhere.
going places. Madonna.
Indeed. It's fantastic. Really good. Well, that's excellent, Tom.
That's yes, sir. Correct. That is Mad Donna in Scotland, who runs the Hair O' the Dog tattoo shop in Glasgow. So thank you, Mad Donna.
Okay. Oh, so
Well.
it's not real Madonna then.
Well, thank you, Mad Donna.
No, Mad Donna.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Mad
Yeah.
Donna. Glasgow.
Okay.
I think I know her, actually, now you say that.
Oh my God, please don't.
He got a tattoo beginning with C on.
Please don't know her. Please don't know her. Please don't know her. You probably missed all of that. We're just back from our break. But if there's any reason to go onto our Patreon page and become a Patreon, then that will be it, folks. Okay, so before we let this get completely away from us and this becomes a 14-hour show, we are moving on to song number 6 here, which of course I can't pronounce. So, RasKahl.
Well, I think it's RasKahl.
RasKahl.
Because I didn't get it to start with. Then suddenly the penny dropped, and I thought, it's RasKahl International.
Yeah, it
Or
is,
RasKahl
isn't it?
International.
Yeah.
It kind of definitely looks like it now. So RasKahl International, Murderation, which is classified here as reggae rock. What do you got for us, Carl?
Yeah, so RasKahl International is from New York in the USA, of course. It says Conscious Roots Reggae International Band. RasKahl International is a conscious reggae band from New York City with a distinct international musical flavor. Their original sound is a blend of various musical styles. Influences include Bob Marley and the Wailers, Peter Tosh, Aswad, and Steel Pulse. And it is indeed a reggae rock track. So it's not often we get reggae on the show. So let's have it.
You know, the only thing that I'm going to say right now is considering that this was posted 24 days ago, having only 4 comments is it's kind of crappy. Hopefully the Underground Sound here, we can help out with that. So this will be RasKahl International with Murderation. It is also available on Spotify. Let's check it out right now, I should say, on the Underground Sound.
Check my 9 to 5. It's murderation, yeah. When I I check my mental vibes, it's murderation, yeah. When I sleep, my stocks decline, it's murderation, yeah. When I see the price of wine, it's murderation, yeah. It's murder, murder, murderation, yeah. It's murder, murder, murderation, yeah. When I check the news columns, it's murderation, yeah. When the masses worship idols, it's murderation, yeah. When nations are ruled by morons, it's murderation, yeah. When everyone is packing guns, it's murderation, yeah. It's murder, murder, murderation, yeah. It's murder, murder, murderation, yeah. When the youth them cannot eat, it's murderation, yeah. Only the rich get to feast, it's murderation, yeah. When you witness the mark of the beast, it's murderation, yeah. When you walk before you creep, it's murderation, yeah. It's murder, murder, 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 murderation, yeah.
It's really good. It is just beautiful piece of reggae, isn't it? I mean, it's inevitable, like that you're going to draw Bob Marley and Ziggy Marley as what elements in that, and you know that clearly, as they say, is their influences, but they have got that bang on, and it is so nicely produced, and every part of the track just oozes quality, and the instruments are all perfectly set, and the vocals are perfectly set, and you know it's even got that political vibe that reggae roots has, you know, those political undertones. It is a really solid reggae track, and I have to say I am absolutely gobsmacked that we're not already commercially signed up with someone, because it is bang on.
I agree. It's very commercial song. It's definitely got that Bob Marley and the Wailers sort of feel, but also it's got that sort of Bunny Wailer and Peter Tosh feel. By the way, audience, if you've not heard, if you want to get into a bit more reggae and sort of proper reggae and of the 70s, Bunny Wailer, Black Heart Man album's good, and Peter Tosh, Legalize It, great albums. But this, it has that sort of catchiness. You've got that excellent almost Trojan guitar sound with all the sort of picky guitars that led into the sort of Bob Marley style early 70s sound. But also the lead guitar, almost like there's an Isley Brothers track, might be the Summer Breeze, but then one of the tracks has got that kind of electric lead guitar going over it, and I like that sound. It's good. They've got a good sound. In fact, there's a couple of tracks by Funkadelic that've got that guitar sound as well. Lovely effect. The bass, I would like the bass to be slightly louder in the mix. It's there, it's present, and it's clear, but with a lot of reggae songs, the bass is just a little bit more to the foreground. But I can't criticize it too much because it's actually a really good song. Love the chorus. The call and response stuff is really good because it gets you straight away. You're either singing the lead vocal part or you're singing the backing vocal part, or both. And that makes it a really good potential live track for crowds to sing back at the lead singer as well. So murder, murder, all that kind of thing. So and it's easy to sing along to. So good song, really good.
Yeah, I agree. So one of the things that I liked about it was the kind of like a classic kind of like Michael Jackson style guitar that was in the background when you're talking about the lead guitar, the kind of like guitar solo-ish effect that they had going on there. I was kind of wondering, like, is this a bedroom production or is this not a bedroom production? But I don't really think it was a bedroom production because it does sound like it was it's completed. And to Carl, to your point, which is being up there and being live, we could have like na 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 na, and then hand the mic over to the crowd where the murderation. And we could have this whole interactivity going on with the song, and the political undertones are there, and definitely have a place in the song. I think that the lyrics themselves are solid for what this is here. Reminded me a bit of Sublime, so I wrote that down. Obviously, it does have that Bob Marley and Ziggy Marley and kind of like the Isley Brothers feel to it and everything, but Sublime also had that kind of like ska reggae kind of feel to it. And this song almost immediately reminded me of the show that we had with Russ Palladino when we had Neiman the Demon, which was another reggae song out there that was more of a vacation-y kind of like reggae vibe to it. This was kind of like the polar opposite to it because it did have that, once again, the political undertone to it. Nonetheless, I think great song and very well done.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a sort of, because it's got that slightly political undercurrent to it, I think it's a song that some group like the Specials could, or even UB40, because they had some political message songs. So I could easily hear Ali Campbell singing this as well. And, if they did it, it would be a popular song. So, yeah, if they did release that in the 80s or 90s, it would be well known. So it's a shame that these tracks just need more airplay, need to get out there, and people need to listen to them because they're good, really good. And I from the basis of that song, I'd be keen to hear more from them as well. And
I do exactly the same with the U40 thing. And yet, oddly enough, the flip side of that is this is a more pure reggae track than a UB40 would do. UB40 would do almost a pop cover of it. And I loved UB40. I loved UB40, and I immediately thought UB40 when I heard this. But then it's that understanding that UB40 kind of took the poppy element of what is pure reggae, and this to me is more that purer side of reggae, and a really, really good job. And whether it's bedroom, I thought it was a bit more well produced than a bedroom production in my setup here anyway. But yeah,
I can hear what Tom's saying all the same, because it does have a bit of that. There's something about that vibe. So it's a sort of a live production, almost like it's a live recorded studio production. So there's a bit of looseness about it.
Right. That's the only thing that I mean by it. I don't, by no means am I saying that this is produced incorrectly or anything like that, but it does kind of sound as if this were recorded on a live platform and then kind of like, pieced together, in your bedroom, as it were. So, but once again, this takes nothing away from the song and the goodness of it, right? Because once again, the lyrics are strong, the instruments are strong. There's definitely something going on here. A multifaceted kind of like a production that is going on here. I definitely think that this can go places. And once again, folks, as Carl had mentioned, radio airplay is what's needed here for underground musicians like this. So please do visit our website, usundergroundsound.com. Find our radio station there. You may get a notice that it's still in the works. It'll only be a matter of about a week or two before that entire thing goes live here. And as always, visit the video description below find the links to these artists if you absolutely must hear them right away. This song, that song that we had just listened to, I should say, is also available on Spotify. So find the links to the artists, find the links to their Spotify, put them on your playlist, and let's get some recognition out there to these underground musicians, because once again, this is not going to be the stuff that you're going to be hearing on mainstream radio. This is definitely the stuff that you're going to have to search for, and luckily for us, our own Carlos Fandango does the searching for you. So please, once again, check out the video description below, show these artists some love, show them some, give them a like, give them a fire, share them, do something so that way we can get this great music out there to the masses yet again, where it belongs. It belongs in everybody's ears. You heard it here on the Underground Sound, and moving on now to song number 7, Sweetie Pie.
Sweetie Pie, yes, indeed. So Sweetie Pie is from a solo artist from Philadelphia, PA, USA. A female-fronted alternative indie rock band. I'm sorry, not a solo artist. So it says here, Sweetie Pie has been a singer-songwriter since a very young age, playing local shows with her acoustic guitar. Finally decided to do what she has always wanted to do, have a full band sound and be able to connect with and help people through music. Influences include Anthony Green, Saves the Day, Always, Best Coast, Lit, The Dirty Nil, and Avril Lavigne. I've heard of Avril Lavigne. So, but basically, yeah.
At least you've heard of one of them. So
I've heard of one of them. As long as I've always heard of one of them on the list, I feel contemporary.
okay. Well, here we go. Sweetie Pie with Dream Come True. This song is also available on Spotify. Once again, video description below. Find the links, show the artist some love. But as for right now, let us listen to Dream Come True by Sweetie Pie.
I woke up that day and I couldn't wait to be around you, like a dream come true. I got dressed and put my makeup on. Do I look pretty for you? I knew the moment I saw you. I want you so bad. I want you to be my boyfriend. I need you so bad. I need you, will you hold my hand? When you're around, oh, I'm so complete. I found the other half of me. I hope you never leave. The second our eyes meet, I want you wrapped up in the sheets, my one missing piece. I want you so bad. I want you to be my boyfriend. I need you so bad. I need you, will you hold my hand? Like a dream come true, like a dream come true. First time I saw you, yeah, when I hope you never leave, hope you never leave. You're just like a dream, my one missing piece. Dream come
Dream Come True by Sweetie Pie right there. Rob, Sweetie Pie, what'd you think?
Yeah, I want to say there's an element of emo rock there, but it's a little bit more upbeat than emo rock. And I know she's drawn her inspirations on Avril Lavigne, and certainly her lyrics sort of lend themselves towards that, but it's got that a little bit more upbeat and quite a kind of nice happy vibe to it. The reverb vocals reminded me a little bit of Wolf Alice, really. They just sort of swoosh out a bit, and they're quite nice. They're a little bit more dreamy than that sort of typical raw emo rock style, but it's a really good sound, and I really like it. And oddly enough, and because we like to hark back to retro a little bit, there are times when I hear her voice that remind me of early Kim Wilde in her song style. So again, it's that little bit brighter, poppier side to it all, and yet still there's this element of emo rock to it. So overall, though, really good song.
Yeah, Mr. Fandango, what say you, my friend?
Well, it's not one I'd normally listen to, but I did think for the show, we need the variety, and it's good to hear. I mean, there is an audience for this, and I think it's actually quite a good sound she's got there. It's got doing her own thing, and it's good on her for finally getting the band sound. And this is the thing, if you just always got these songs, you're writing songs, it never sounds the same when it's you and a guitar only. And one way or another, it's great to get a band behind you because it sounds so much bigger and fuller. So I think actually the song, it's got very good sort of pseudo catchy chorus that I can imagine people sing along to. It's very sort of college rock sort of age sort of people, post-punkish, a little bit like that. If you're talking about 80s, then you'd compare it maybe, as you say, with early Kim Wilde or Transvision Vamp, late 80s. A bit of sort of the Pink with the attitude, perhaps, of the 2000s. But I think it's quite a sort of radio-friendly sound. I mean, it's not unheard of for that kind of music sort of to be played on the radio. So I think it's got a sort of fairly commercial vibe about it, and I'm sure her stuff would be. There's definitely a market for what she's doing. So I think and it could be played live, because it's a guitar-based band vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. The one band that I kept on, I should say one person in one band that I kept on thinking about when the song was going was definitely Gwen Stefani. But when Gwen Stefani was in No Doubt, because this is a No Doubt kind of thing, I personally think myself, this is the one thing that really kept ringing in my head when we were talking about, I'm just a girl or whatever the case may be. I do think that there's like a lot of teen angst in here. But I definitely could see how Avril Lavigne could be, influence here and everything like that. I do think that the song suffers from not having a proper sound engineer, because I do think that there are elements missing to the song that could be done a bit more professionally. The compression is a little bit off. Obviously, the automation's kind of a little wonky here and there. Doesn't mean at all that this is not a listenable song or anything of the sort. It very much is. But I do think that with the help of a proper audio engineer, this kind of sounds like, when you were younger, when you were 16, you would get together with your friends if you had a band, and like all six of you chipped in like, $30-$40, and, you got some studio time and you kind of like did everything yourself. It kind of sounds like that. I don't think that this is a pro production, but once again, there's nothing wrong with it because the structure of the song is pretty solid, and comparing them to No Doubt and, the other bands that we have mentioned, then I don't think is any kind of rough criticism at all.
So you think just a bit more polish on the overall production side of things?
Absolutely. Yeah. Work with a proper audio engineer, and this is definitely a group that could be going places very quickly.
I just want to add though that down in Cornwall in the southwest, we have a lot of surf shops, and those surf shops are often commonly like skater shops, skateboarder shops as well. So they have this kind of common theme, and you could walk into any one of those sort of surf shops and this song would be playing. Her music would sit in one of those shops beautifully. So there's an element where I'm thinking, they have a relevance, and you go into those shops and this sound is just there because they play that sort of music. So skater rock, surf rock, whatever you want to say. They're a little bit, normally they're a little bit more harsher in their rock element, but this still has its place in that kind of scene. So yeah, I think they're still very good.
Rob, I agree with you, and I'll tell you this much: as far as what you're talking about here, is I do believe that the internet generation has become a little bit lazy, right? So I think that if this group took on, like, let's say, a grassroots campaign and did go into these skate shops or these shell shops or these whatever, if you were to walk around a beach town anywhere, excuse me, they could be doing the same thing here in Florida along any beach. And hey,
yeah, definitely.
Can you please play this here, or give out, here's some CDs. Can you give these out to some of the customers for free, or even like waiting in the parking lot and, hey, would you like to buy our CD for like $5 or something like that, and having the music kind of like playing out of their speakers. Maybe this is what some of the independent artists out there need to do, is maybe we need to redevelop this whole grassroots campaign and just kind of like start with just stomping the asphalt, as it were, and just letting people know about ourselves in the first place. So I do agree with you. Any kind of shop like that, any kind of beach vibey kind of thing that's going on, skate park or whatever, this music would definitely be a hit there. And once again, this is like what I was saying, is it not that it's a bad song. It could use a little bit of fine tuning, but it's not a bad song to be promotable otherwise. So I do agree with you there 100%, buddy. I'm glad that conversation just like really like died down real quick.
I wasn't sure what to add to that, really.
No, it's good. So we're just gonna go with before it gets out of hand. Let's just go with our second installment of the Purple Ball of Destiny.
Here it is. So, okay, I'll swish it around. One of you call it. Go for it.
Let's do it.
Go on, Tom. You ever go this time?
There you go. Stop. Let's do it.
Right.
Go.
Oh. What was that one? Was that one there? Okay. I think this is the right one. I mean, it might not be, but indie.
Okay.
It's a good category.
Yeah, it's not bad. And while you're searching for that, I have my dad joke book all at the ready.
I'm sure everybody's waiting for it.
Oh, yeah. They love this. What's black and shoots out of the ground shouting, "Knickers!" Crude oil. That's pretty bad. It's
I am not airing that, man.
All right, how about this one? Bumped into my mate in the pub the other night, and he told me he had a pit bull with 5 legs. I said, "There's no way that you've got a pit bull with 5 legs." Turns out one of them was the postman's.
All right.
Come on, that was more laughs than that. Come on, that was bloody good.
I've said these before. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. Either. These are dodgy. Okay. Patient comes into doctor's. Doctor, my hair is falling out. Can you give me something to keep it in? Sorry, I've read that wrong. That's the emphasis. I realised where the emphasis needs to be. Okay, doctor, my hair is falling out. Can you give me something to keep it in? Ask at reception; they'll give you a box. Yeah, that was spoiled. Was yeah, I'm not going to match Jimmy Carr. Okay, what'd you get if you crossed the Atlantic with a Titanic? Just over halfway. Cool.
Oh dear.
That's pretty bad.
I went to the zoo at the weekend. I walked around dozens of enclosures, all of them empty, nothing in them. I finally arrived at the last enclosure, and the only one to contain anything at all is a single dog. The zookeeper, who's seen me eyeing up the dog, comes over and says, "That's a Shih Tzu." I said, "You're not kidding. This freaking zoo is awful." I'll get me coat.
That was all right.
Yeah, I think Rob won that round easily.
All right.
His delivery was much better than mine.
So we have PianoCoffee here.
And he didn't even swear.
Have we had PianoCoffee on here before? This name sounds kind of familiar. So Shimsy Deutsch,
Don't recognize that name myself.
29-year-old and 29-year-old resident near Munich in Bavaria. Play instruments around about 20 years. Specialized in piano, accordion, and drums. Starting to make sounds currently piano and lo-fi, no samples. And hope you have fun by listening. Enjoy. This is what we got there. So PianoCoffee, this song was reposted just but 2 minutes ago, called Sunday Night at a Pub, mixed lo-fi genre, available on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. PianoCoffee with Sunday Night at a Pub, mixed lo-fi genre. Enjoy. Let's check it out. Handing this one over to Carlos Fandango. Carlos Fandango, what say you, sir?
Yeah, that was interesting. Now I've mentioned the Penguin Cafe Orchestra before, and it's got a bit of that kind of vibe, really, where it's got the sort of oddity of their music and sounds and an array and mix of sounds and things. So there's oddly enough, because the piano, it's reminding me of a sort of, we're talking about the visual side of the music, and it reminded me somehow of the sort of Charlie Brown Peanuts cartoon retro vibe from those sort of 70s and late 60s cartoons. But because it had the organ in it, and that always sounds an older song sound, the glockenspiel, and also they didn't utilize the record vinyl crackle just as at the start of the song as people do, at the end of the song as people do, but they actually had it all the way through. So that was more authentic, because it was like hearing an old, crackly old vinyl song. So that was a good aspect in a way, because you're either going to, for my money, you either use it full on or you don't. And it is an overused effect that people have used, but in this context, I think it was the right thing to do, because it felt like it was an old record you were listening to. So all in all, I think the Purple Bowl chose quite well, because it's quite it was pleasing to the ear. I think, you know, I liked the overall feel of it. I liked it. It's good, different.
Overall, okay. Mr. Smart Monkey.
Yeah, that was interesting. So when we pulled out the category of indie, that isn't what I was expecting, to be fair, when I heard this track. And it's one of those ones, because lo-fi is one of those categories that if you don't get it right, they're really harsh on you, because if you're more on the upbeat side of lo-fi, then they kind of just dismiss it and go, it's not lo-fi. And yet there was a lot of lo-fi in this, in my personal opinion, but it is that real upper, that more upbeat side of lo-fi, a little bit more sort of it's hard to explain it, but that more energetic side of lo-fi, which then almost gets dismissed because lo-fi is this kind of study music and things like that. So is it indie? Not so much in my mind. Is it chill out? Yeah, there is definitely an element of chill out, but not your traditional chill out either. So it's sort of sitting in between these categories. I definitely get what you said, Carl, about the Penguin Cafe Orchestra. There is that kind of element to it, you know. So yeah, but all in all, it was a pleasant song, and it's one of those ones that just falls in between genres again, but good.
Yeah, I got to say that the Purple Bowl chose well again, but not like really like, I mean, it chose a good song, but not really in the specific genre that it's supposed to be in. As far as indie, as you know, where underground kind of like indie music comes into play, then yes, I mean, this is what we're all about here. But I really like the organ in there, you know, like that classic kind of like organ. And to your point, Carl, the crackling effect of the old record there, right? Some people just use it in the beginning of their song, or some people just use it at the end of their song. But if you use it all the way through, it kind of like does make you feel like you're listening to, you know, an old crackly record, which is a nice touch there. And I gotta wonder, is kind of like this lo-fi chill out, kind of like the new version of jazz music for the 21st century, right? Because, you know, we're moving away from the saxophones and the trumpets and everything like that. We still have the piano elements in there and everything like that, but I gotta think that maybe this is the new jazz. Seems kind of like, you know, poppy-ish and everything to that extent. I don't really know, because we've only had a very select few, a handful of people that have actually done, I think, proper jazz on this show.
Yeah, I've only chosen a couple before now, and one was, yeah, they've both been. There was that short track, 1 minute 30, a tribute to John Coltrane. I forget what the title was, but and then there was that. I've forgotten the other name as well, but there was another full-on jazz track as well. So we've had two, and some have been jazz tinged and jazz influenced, but there've been two proper jazz tracks. That it's a kind of, yeah, there's sort of jazz elements in the sense that it's kind of a bit off the wall and different, which jazz can be. I like it for that fact though, because if it was an item, that thing would be in an old curiosity shop. It would be a curio of some kind, you know. It would be something of interest, something a bit different that you'd put in your house, and that's what I like about it. It's that kind of feel to it. It doesn't fit into a category easily anyway.
I'd be interested to know how they kind of pitched that though, because I did an album called A Little Different, and it was very much sort of going towards the more lo-fi side of things. And it's really hard that when you're pitching that, if it's not perfectly sort of this kind of study style lo-fi, really quite stripped back lo-fi, nobody really wanted it. And to me, there's a place for this sort of music, this more upbeat style of lo-fi. And yet when I was trying to get my sound out there, nobody really had a place for it. But I agree with you, there's almost this kind of jazz lo-fi that should exist for this kind of music. It is still good listening. All right, you don't want to study to it, but why does every lo-fi track have to be study lo-fi? You know, I want something that verges on that more upbeat side of lo-fi. And yeah, it'd be interesting to know where this one ends up.
I'm keen to agree with you on that one, Rob, is because the thing that I thought about with that song there is eventually I will be in England and we'll have our cigar episode and everything like that, and this is a song that I would love to hear in the background.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
as we're going on the show and we're kind of like talking about and doing our thing like we do, that wouldn't be a bad song to be having in that cigar bar. If we're dressed up nice, like Carl would say, smart. We have ties on and our suits and the blanket over our legs because it's going to be cold, I guess, in August or whatever.
Because we're old men,
right? I guess.
Right.
Someone can wheel us out.
God damn those Germans, right? No, but you know what I mean. Is kind of like when you're in that kind of atmosphere. I think that this kind of like music works perfectly.
Yeah,
and I do again, as Carl had mentioned, I do like the fact that the record crackle is there throughout the entirety of the song and not just at certain points. So I think overall, nicely done. To your point again, Rob, is it truly lo-fi? No, it's not truly lo-fi. It does have a nice kick in those drums, and it's there. But I do think that it could be classified as study music as well. I wouldn't have a problem listening to that if I was studying.
Yeah, that'd be good music to study to. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it makes onto a study playlist, though, which is the odd thing. I agree with what you guys are saying, but when someone curates those playlists, they're really harsh. And if it isn't sort of really toned, if your mind is interested in the music, then it's almost failed, which is a crazy thing, because to me, that is music. If there's elements that you're listening to and you go, oh, I like that, it's almost like, well, no, that's not study lo-fi then, because you want to tune it out.
I can't remember who it was now. There was an artist or a musician or someone I remember reading about who said they hate lift music, elevator music, and background music because it's background music. They said music should be something that you have to listen to and do listen to 100% or not at all. Now, I'm not overly inclined to agree with that, but I get the point. And yet some music is good background music. I mean, when I was doing my A-levels at school, I had the Smiths on in the background and the House Martins, and particularly the House Martins, because it was quite upbeat sort of music. So it's just in the background. I mean, I was listening to the song as well, singing along to it, but I was concentrating at the same time. So you can do it to a degree. But yes, it's got to be, and yet that was really interesting music and catchy music as well. And yet I found it was really good to study to and write to, because it sort of, the tempo was fast, so I sort of wrote faster than I would have done. But it's odd.
Yeah, no, well, this kind of seems like it's the second song in a series that we've had today that is kind of like, oh my God, it was Obsidian, the first Purple Bowl Destiny song that we had, right? Where it fits in that kind of thing, right? Where you can think about it and you can listen to it and it works on a multitude of levels. So I'm just going to say once again, just nicely done. I mean,
yeah, any piece of music causes a conversation like we're doing now.
Exactly. We've been talking about it for quite a bit.
Yeah,
so obviously there's something about it. So hey, more power to it, and great job. So TPOD down.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Moving on to Paul Sultana.
Yeah, he's from
Shine.
Yes, from Czech Republic, České Budějovice in Czech Republic. Now this is I chose this one because I really like the vibe of the song. It's not had lots of saves and comments, but it's had some. But this is a sort of more it says Christian and folk, and we don't often have folk or Christian music, but Let Your Face Shine, which is Psalm 80. Now we're going a bit religious, so watch your language, Rob. And Yeah, so but I think I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. I really like this one. It's something I listened about 3 or 4 times in a row because I love the vibe of it, because there's a song it reminds me of as well from the 70s. But we'll see what you think.
Okay, let's check it out now. Let Your Face Shine by Paul Sultana. Here we go, folks.
Oh, give ear, you shepherd of Israel, you who lead the flocks of men, who art enthroned upon the cherubim. Shine forth your light before all men. Stir up your might and come to save us. Come to restore with a mighty hand. Oh Lord, how long will you be angry and leave us crying in this land? Let your face shine, Lord, let your face shine. Let your face shine, let it shine, that we be saved. You are the vine, we are the branches, mighty cedar by the stream. Oh God, please turn, look down from heaven, before we perish in the sea. Oh, give us life, we call upon you, with the name above all names, seated at the Father's right. Come again at the end of days. Let your face shine, Lord, let your face shine. Let your face shine, let it shine, that we be saved. Let your face shine, Lord, let your face shine. Let your face shine, let it shine, that we be saved.
Let Your Face Shine, Psalm 80 by Paul Santana right there. I'm sorry, Sultana. Rob, what you think?
Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Muted myself out. No, I really like that, and I'm glad, Carl, that you picked it.
It's because you were swearing.
Yeah, I was swearing like all the way through that. It's a very jolly, sweary song. No, I really liked it, and I wouldn't typically listen to that type of music, and that's just arguably a fault of mine, because actually that was a really nice track, really nicely produced, and the vocals, the backing vocals and everything just sit beautifully, and it was a really nice track. I had a bit of a dilemma here because the first time I heard it, and I don't know if it's my headphone set up here tonight, but to me it had a bit more of a stereo space to it, and things were firing off in all the right sort of, it had a nice spread to it. But I wasn't getting that on my headphones here, so now I'm like questioning my setup here tonight. But I just thought when I first heard it that first time round, I thought it was a really good sounding track and very upbeat, very jolly, and does exactly what that kind of track wants to do, isn't it? That Christian folk kind of song celebrates, and it is a very celebration style song. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's I've got a lot to say about this one because I realised listening to it, I listened to it 3 or 4 times in a row because I love that kind of song. And it's so, yeah, the positive message, as a lot of those songs are. It's warm because of that positive message, and it's infectious with the call and response. It reminds me a little bit of there's a 70s song by Ocean, which is a Put Your Hand in the Hand, which is a really good song as well. It's got that kind of vibe, it's just a sort of happy clappy sort of thing. There's claps, there's tambourines, the guitar sound is lovely, plus the interjections. So the call and response to the vocals is going on. The guitar's doing this sort of call and response thing. Although I don't know if it's a guitar that's doing all the higher notes, or probably a mandolin, to be fair. Sounds like a mandolin. I love those parts because it reminds me of actually a couple of the folky Led Zeppelin songs. So that's good. But I think it's a double track vocal, although I think his voice is just really good anyway. So when he goes down to those deeper vocal sounds, it sounds really good, fills that space beautifully. So nicely produced in that respect. But yeah, it's got that old style sort of Peter, Paul and Mary sort of vibe to it. I've also written down Mums and Papas, Melanie Safka, that sort of early 70s melody sound. Lovely harmonies. What have I put there? Not going to be, I don't know what I've put there. Oh, yeah, that's it. So it's not going to be a hit necessarily, but if it was the mid-60s New Seekers doing it, or the Seekers, or Mamas and Papas doing it, or Melanie in the early 70s, it would have been a song that was well known. So to me, it's good enough to be an old style hit, but it's not good enough to be a hit these days. It's not the right kind of sound to be a hit these days. Nobody will make it a hit, but it's a nice song. It's a good song.
Well, don't dismiss it, because Christian rock does actually have a place that there's maybe not in the top 40, but the top 40 as far as Christian singles would be concerned, then I think the song would make it. I think that this has like a really nice kind of like old Americana, kind of like John Denver kind of vibe to it, even though it's not very country-ish, right? It definitely sounds something like Country Roads, Take Me Home is something that each of us could probably sing in our minds and know where it comes from. So this John Denver kind of type melody to it, with this very folky atmosphere mixed in with the religious aspect of everything, I could think can be kind of like 1 and 1 and 1, basically, with the way that the song's going. So I think it's nicely produced for the type of music that it is, obviously. So we're not overbearing with any of the music. The instruments come out to be very clear and very precise and very concise, for that matter, as do the lyrics. So I think there are a lot of religious folk out there that are going to enjoy the song for what it is, and I do think that there are those old Americana kind of like country fans, once again, John Denver fans, that will appreciate the song for what it is also. So I will just say for myself, nicely done. As I think that it's good. I think that it has a place in people's hearts. So
yes, and I think also talking earlier about the visual images you get from a song, it's funny you mentioned John Denver and Country Roads, Take Me Home, and I hadn't really even spotted that, but that's exactly the kind of vibe it is, and that's the kind of music I absolutely adore. Those songs, sort of Sunshine on My Shoulders, and all those wonderful songs that he did. They've got and Grandma's Feather Bed, and all those kind of happy vibe songs that have got that sort of Christian roots to it, and the
Yeah.
Americana thing going on, this discovery of the new land, the new world, and as if you're sort of being pulled along by some horses on a trailer or something, and you're all sitting there clapping and singing a song at the end of the hard day's work. That's the kind of vibe, and it does conjure up that image,
Right.
trundling down a country lane, singing a song together, being part of a community.
Well, this is a beautiful thing about this type of music, is because it really does dig deep into the sense of community, right? Is because it's not for one person, it's not for one genre, it's made for everybody. It's made for everybody. As long as you can feel happy doing something, then this song is for you. And that's all that it really is. I think that there's, when we start breaking stuff down into genres, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this, I understand the need for the genres, but obviously with this particular song that we're talking about here, John Denver Country Roads, when you think about it, there is no need for a genre, because I'm pretty sure that whether you're into hip hop or rock or metal or indie or electronic or whatever, I think that most people will have a good recollection of what Country Roads is with John Denver, and you'll be able to sing along with it, probably, if not for anything more than just the chorus. And that's kind of like one of those songs that is going to be just as memorable as that song was.
I think you're bang on there, Tom, really, because this song I probably would not have heard if it wasn't for the fact that you guys have just picked it and played it, and there's relevance to having a radio station that pushes that kind of music out there. And yet at the same time, this is the sort of music that I remember in my childhood, as we would be, I've said it before, with late night jazz, or you're driving home late at night and these songs that play. And this one resonates with me about snugness, security, warmth. It oozes that sort of thing. So even though it's a celebratory sort of track, and it's a very Christian sort of folk sort of track, it has this warmth and this beauty that just makes you feel like warm and secure. And when we compartmentalize music in a certain way, I'm not going to hear this in the typical places that I would listen to music. And the fact that you guys have pulled that back out and put it in front of me again is brilliant, because I've heard something that takes me back to my youth again, and it is a beautiful piece of music. So yeah, good on you.
I would also recommend people check out Paul Sultana's stuff, because having a quick flick through the tracks, you've got instrumentals there, indie folk, sort of folk, Americana sort of stuff, slightly alternative rock stuff as well. So it's not all Christian based stuff. If you're not into that music, check him out anyway, because it's singer songwriter, indie artist, alternative rock, folk. He's trying out a few different genres, but his voice is really good, and his guitar playing is very crisp as well, and very good. So he's very competent, accomplished musician and songwriter. So he writes, that was a Psalm 80, but most of his stuff is actually written him, recorded and produced by himself. So he's a good talent, and it's worth checking out, I'd say.
That's interesting, because I did think they were like a Christian folk band, and they're not. By the sounds of it, they're a lot more diverse than that. So that's interesting.
Definitely worth checking out.
It's from what I heard so far, it does seem a little bit more religious. But once again, folks, if you're a fan of John Denver or whatever the case may be, visit the video description below. Check out the links. Just because something is labeled Christian does not necessarily mean that it's going to be ultra religious there or anything like that. Great folk artist that we had on the show before was Jay Quincy with Picture Me Your Dream House. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful masterpiece of a song there. So visit the older shows and check that song out as well. But once again, if you visit the video description below, you will find the links to these artists. Go show them some love. And if you love that one for whatever reason you did, whether it be the fact that it was a bit more religious, or whether it be the fact that it was a bit more country, or whether it be the fact that it was a bit more Americana, then by all means, visit these artists, show them some love, let them know that you support them in the music that they are making, because from what we gather is a lot of indie and a lot of underground artists are struggling with the reason to keep on making this kind of music, because, you know, the radio only recognizes the record labels. Let's get away from that. Let's get away from just recognizing the ones that are on the radio, and let's get these folks out here into the limelight, as it were, and let's get them the recognition that they deserve, because this is definitely not a song that you would have heard on the radio. Maybe you didn't want to, maybe you did, but if you did, then obviously this is making a bit more of an impact for you here today on the Underground Sound. And geez, I could keep on going on.
No, just we'll keep giving people encouragement, Rob.
Yes.
And
I can,
especially if they just uploaded their first song ever. Yeah, we don't want to discourage them.
I can literally just keep on talking all day long about why you should check out Indian underground music, but let's the show has been a bit derailed by Rob earlier, so it's taking a little bit longer than expected. So Carlos Fandango for our show closer here. I see we have Garry Ford with Otherside. What can you tell me about this, sir?
Yeah, sometimes we have these roistering, rousing, big tracks at the end. Well, this is a big track, but it's a big ballad track. So, and I see that. So this chap is called Garry Ford. He's a drummer, singer, songwriter from Liverpool in UK. So from Liverpool, and he's doesn't say what the influences are, but it does say that he sort of does indie rock, singer-songwriter rock, alternative rock, metal. One of the other songs that he's uploaded more recently has had 243 fire, 12 saves. I'll need to listen to it myself. But this particular track, I thought was a really good ballad that's had 4 saves and 101 fire. I think it had 25 comments on Slaps, but I do feel like it needs a bit more attention because it is a damn good song.
Well, if Carlos Fandango says it's a damn good song, then that means it's a damn good song. Here we go. Let's check out Garry Ford with Otherside, also available on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music, as it were, right here. It does say that it's his latest release. It's reposted 6 days ago, right as of right now, as my voice is hitting your eardrums. 56 plays, 4 saves, 101 fire. Let's check it out. Garry Ford, Otherside.
Why stare at an image frozen in time when the world was yours and mine? It all felt so real to me. You're gone, but we'd love to look upon. Through the clouds I see the sun, and tomorrow still must be. I know I've got to stay strong. Oh, let
Seems like Carlos Fandango is taking us on multiple religious journeys today. Carlos Fandango, explain yourself.
Yeah, this is a sort of very spiritual song, I guess, as you could describe it. It's clearly a sort of emotional, personal song of loss of a close loved one, sort of a torch song for loved relatives or friends. I mean, I was thinking of my friend Dan, actually, then that made me think, because this is the first time I get carried away with music very often, so I don't always listen to the lyrics. So it's not until several listens in I'll then start listening to the lyrics properly. And when I start getting absorbed into the lyrics, then I was really thinking about Dan, my friend. So but this is a proper songwriter's song. It's a proper classic chords of sort of Jeff Lynne, Beatles style, Billy Joel, vocally, bit Crowded House, bit Elvis Costello, strong, big production. I think, with a proper guitar solo as well, some nice bends in the guitar solo, and then a stop, and then the big sort of finish. But quite a sort of big epic song. I really like this one, and I think it's a sort of big ballad that you don't get very much these days, and I like it for that.
Emotional times. Mr. Smart Monkey, what say you, sir? Turn your mic back on, just by the way.
Not again, not again. Oh my God.
More swearing.
This track was brilliant. This track has been my favorite of the night. This is ELO to me. It's so reminiscent of an ELO song, and the way that the song sort of, the structure of it it's just really good. It's so good. And I just want to hear more. Now, I've gone and listened to some of Garry's other songs, and they're not necessarily this vein of track, but this track resonates so well with me. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's so well constructed, and the amount that's going on in there, the layers that are going on in there. There's an element that maybe it's a little. It gets a little bit lost and a little bit muddy in places. It just needs a little bit of a polish, but I don't mean that in a negative way at all, because this song is brilliant. And, I definitely think Garry is going places if he keeps on producing stuff like that, because I would go out and buy this. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think all of us would. So as far as my notes are concerned here, a little bit of fine polishing, right? Working with the correct kind of like producer here. But listen, where do I start? We have a guitar solo that is Slash worthy from Guns N' Roses, right? We have this Lenny Kravitz vibe going on to this with a guitar and chord progression that is Pink Floyd, if nothing more. The song has so much going on in it that it's so beautifully done. You have a concrete story. You have, forget the 5-minute mark and making it commercially viable. This is a song that needs to be listened to throughout that entire 5 minutes, if not more, because there's so much going on here. But once again, just a little bit of fine tuning, would make this a hit that would resonate through ages. So I think Carl, I think you've done like a just clear spot on job here with choosing like an actual hit that is worthy of not only Pink Floyd, but the Rolling Stones, but also Led Zeppelin and bands in between. Because once again, like I said, this Lenny Kravitz vibe to it with a Guns N' Roses / solo to it, with the Pink Floyd progression to the guitar of like Learning to Fly, and you've ended up with this masterpiece here. Very well done.
And isn't that our last track as well, which is
that is
so perfect to end the show on? It is just brilliant.
It just felt like a show closer, that's for sure. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely a wow kind of thing, definitely a wow kind of feeling to it. You know, you can try to put words behind it, but there's sometimes that you really can't put words behind art. You just have to sit there and appreciate it for what it is. And you know, we can do as many comparisons as we want, and we can do it, and we can make as many comments as we want, but you're not going to take away from the fact that this has such artistic integrity to it that it's just beyond words. I think you know, from my standpoint right now, honestly.
It's just nice and reassuring to know it's reassuring to know there's talented people out there writing these kind of songs still that are kind of retro flavored but new.
Yes.
And disappointing and angering as well, because they're not being heard. And that
Exactly.
really just gets me in jars with me, that these poor people write these great songs that if anybody else had done them who's famous would have been a big hit.
You're bang on. 56 plays, 5 saves, 112 fire, and that's with me just adding stuff on there. I mean, that does not do that song justice. That song is absolutely, well, it's outstanding, really, in my personal opinion. All three of us are just sitting here going, "Wow,
Yeah,
that's a cracking track."
that song needs to be on vinyl. It needs to be heard everywhere.
Absolutely.
It needs to be in every single Guitar Center or any single music shop that you have out there. This is a song that needs to be listened to. It is just absolutely, once again, something that goes beyond words and beyond reassurance, because there's no reassurance needed here. This is the hit. My goodness, for as early on as we are in 2023, I'm going to put a star next to this one as
Good idea.
As for the 2024 New Year's Eve special, which will be the best of the 2023, is
Absolutely.
obviously the best of the 2022 will be coming up shortly. We need to work out the fine details of the criteria and everything like that. But this is wow again. I mean, we've only really said that a handful of times, like wow. You know, like giving up like the quadruple wow of attention here. So Garry Ford with Otherside, definitely. Carl, it was a specifically emotional experience for you because of your friend. It was an emotional experience for me because of the music. Rob, it was an emotional experience for you because of everything going on here. This is really one of those songs that does really bring out the emotions for each individual person in different respects. And we've had some great songs today.
Yeah, I think for me, my favourite vocal of the night was Dalila Mar, Brividi. I think for its moodiness was Skaviński, Luna, like that. For the catchiness, I loved the Murderation, RasKahl International, the reggae one. For the happy vibe, I loved the Paul Sultana because it had such a retro flavour. But favourite of the night for me overall, Garry Ford. Got to go for that one.
God damn it! I said you could only choose 3.
No, Garry Ford. I'm gonna go Garry Ford.
All right.
That's pretty good, though, Carl. You picked 10 tracks out of the 10.
Well, the bowl chose 2 good ones as well. I thought.
No.
You picked 10 favourites out of the 10 we played
Favourites,
tonight.
yeah.
Good. Bowl definitely done good. I got to say, so as far as vocals are concerned, I have to say Brividi. Production quality, pretty much kind of like everything going on here. I got to say it's going to be Obsidian with Davide Lonici. And then I got to say for song of the night, I got to say the one that we just listened to, Otherside.
Ford, yeah.
Right now, no, I'm looking at learning to fly. I'm looking because no,
cooking lately.
It really reminds.
Egg and chips tonight.
Don't start. Let me get through this.
Opening a new chip shop.
Damn it! I said don't start.
Oh, sorry.
Learning to fry.
Learning. You know what? This is shit that I have to deal with the co-hosts, you know? My goodness. But if it weren't for the co-host, where would I be? My goodness. I got to say, once again, because I'm looking at Learning to Fly from Pink Floyd. It was one of the strongest moments for me in the song, because it was something that Learning to Fly was one of the first songs that my dad had ever recommended that I listened to, alongside of Dire Straits with Money for Nothing and Brothers in Arms, that whole album and everything like that, you know. So it's just it's fantastic. It's just fantastic hearing that kind of music. So I got to say that my overall top of the night is going to be Garry Ford with Otherside. But other than that, then obviously we're going to go to Brividi and with Obsidian from Davide Lonici. So yeah, so I had a really great one.
How about you, Rob? Your top three?
Yeah,
Top three, yeah, for me. So I'm going to go Luna. I love where that took me in my visual music mind. I thought that was really good. And then I was torn between Dalila. Is it Dalila?
Yeah, Dalila Mar.
Yeah, I was torn between Dalila, but the one that picked it for me, and this is going to sound quite unusual, for my second song, this isn't my favorite, but for my second song choice is going to be the Let Your Face Shine, and that Christian folk song, because it just had something that really just grabbed me, and it's not something that I hear all the time.
it's a natural goodness.
It's what, sorry?
It's a natural goodness,
Yeah,
like
someone gave me a hug.
fairness. yeah, exactly.
So I really like that. But song of the night for me, just out there by a mile, is Garry Ford on the Other Side. It was it just did everything for me. That's like all of that retro stuff just pulled forwards in a more relevant place right now, and I want more of it.
Talking of hugs, I think you need to give Keven Daken a hug, Rob.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin. I absolutely loved your song, really. So, yeah.
Listen, folks. Obviously, if we could, then we would vote every single one of these songs a 10, but we cannot. We do have to kind of like progress with this and learn as we did with the show. And the Luna song had a great quality to it. Every single song tonight, I think, was a spot on banger personally. But once again, we're just talking about our little personal preferences and choices here. If you have other ones that you like, then by all means, please do comment below. Let us know which songs were your top three, your favorites, which one took you to a different emotional place, which one you absolutely hated, and which one was a proper cunt.
We know which one Rob thought was.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
It was just a Freudian slip.
Oh, so you actually meant it, is what you're saying. Because a Freudian slip, you actually meant that shit. Okay.
Is that what I meant? I don't know what. I'm gonna have to go look that up now. What have I said now?
I thought it was an accident, but you actually.
It was accidental slip. I don't know.
An accidental slip, yeah. A Freudian slip means that you actually do think.
Oh, did it? Does it? Oh my god.
Well, it's just a mistake. I think it's what you. I think it's not that you meant it, but you're thinking it.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I wasn't thinking that at all.
I just said actually me.
I just stopped my sentence too short. I take that. Oh, Kevin. Oh my god, I'm doing you even more of an injustice. I so apologize. I actually really like this track. It was a very good track. I just can't
it really
play
was
a sentence
very well
without pausing in the wrong
Yes.
places.
Kevin, don't worry about it. Smart Monkey just needed to burp at that specific point in time right there. So had nothing to do with your track. Your track was brilliant. Obviously, we love a good 98% of the tracks that we listen to here on the Underground Sound. And we want to thank you all for joining us. I am DJ X Tech. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango and our brand new third co-host here. Or not co-host, I should say. Our brand new third of the permanent nature here will be Rob of otherwise known as Smart Monkey. So together we are putting the us back in the music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music that you love to hear.
And don't forget to click on the little bell so you get the notifications whenever Tom uploads a new video of the underground sound.
Absolutely. So I think I have like four of Fandango's faves to upload still. We have the episode 22, and today will be episode 23. Yeah.
23.
Or did I do 23 and 24?
No, this is 23.
This is going to be 23. Okay. So, but those will be all up shortly. And by all means, once again, please visit usundergroundsound.com and sign up for our mailing list there, just in case anything happens here on YouTube where we have to call it quits, as it were. So that way you can keep on getting the information that you need to know what's going on with the show and with these fantastic indie and underground musicians. And once again, please do visit the video description below. Find all these musicians, head on to their personal links there and say, hey, I love you for whatever reason. You know, you like the music, you like the sound, it made you feel a certain way, then obviously spread some love so that way they keep doing what they're doing so we can make this show possible for today, which would be January 27th, 2023. Once again, DJ X Tech, Carlos Fandango, and Rob Williams, Smart Monkey. Thank you for joining us.
So long, farewell. I think it's going to do Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Sorry.
I don't know what that was.
The problem is the microphone doesn't pick it up, so you're just doing that to us. That's what Rob was doing, by the way, folks.
I'm pretty sure that we caught him eventually, but yes, that was it. Rob was saying
Goodbye. So long, farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Over to you, Rob. Goodbye.
Goodbye.